driven.
Hello, everyone. This is Data Driven Chat, and I'm super excited today because we have Kurtis Pykes with us. Hi, Kurtis.
Hello.
Kurtis is a data scientist. He is also AI writer at Towards Data Science, which is an online platform, information platform, which last time I checked had almost 500,000 followers. So welcome, Kurtis. So thank you so much for finding the time to talk to me today.
And thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks a lot. So yeah, just sort of to start our discussion, can you tell us about your personal journey? How did you become interested in data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence?
Sure. So I was working as a postman. So a lot of people see this on my LinkedIn and they're just like, dude, how did you transfer from postman into ML? Weird. But at that time, I was only working as a postman because I went back to school and I needed some income to help me in my studies. So I took a part-time role in a post office. And whilst I was there, I was thinking about things that I really wanted to do because I was only going back to school for like a buffer. And I'd done a course in accounting. I had no interest in accounting, but I just wanted to keep my brain ticking whilst I think about what it is I wanted to do in my future. And in that time, I was listening to a lot of podcasts, video series, and I came across one from Bill Gates where he was asked by someone in the audience, if you didn't invent Microsoft, what would you do? And he said something along the lines of he'll be an AI researcher. And I was like, an AI research, what the hell is that? And I went and done some reading about it. And I was like, yeah, I would never be an AI researcher. And then weirdly enough, about a week or two, I went back to work and they said I'm surplus to requirements. And because I was working as an agent, I come from an agency. It was with immediate effect. They didn't need to give me no notice period. It was just, we don't need you no more, you can go home. And so I felt like I was left with no choice. Like I might as well just learn what I need to know to become an AI researcher initially. And as I got more involved, I was like, wait a minute, there's a practitioner side to this as well. So let me go more towards the practitioner side because I want to be hands-on. I don't want to be reading loads of research papers and all of those things. And slowly but surely, like I feel like my circumstances forced me to learn. So I had to learn how to program. I had to teach myself the maths all over again. I had to teach myself quite a few things, to be honest. And I'm still teaching myself quite a bit. And also now with the help of the community, I'm getting a lot of support in my learning. So it's been a strange one, but yeah, that's how I got into it.
Well, really cool career path. So yeah, I was actually wondering how this change happened from postman to being the data scientist and AI researcher. And yeah, quite a few people listening to this to this series are aspiring data scientists, so they really want to know how to get into data science. So guys, if you are listening to this right now, you can see a live example of someone who was a postman, but he made a career in data science. So that's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for this story. I just, we very often on this in the series we kind of come back to role models and try to understand whether there was someone who inspired you. Well, you mentioned Bill Gates already, but I'm just wondering, do you have a role model? Like, I guess this was someone that kind of sparkled an idea in your mind, but do you have a role model, someone who inspires you in their work, and someone that potentially you look up to?
So of course we've got the Bill Gates. I feel like everyone's sort of role model is Bill Gates, anyone in tech at least, or maybe I'm just overgeneralizing. But in terms of like machine learning itself, first and foremost is Andrew Ng or Andrew Ng, however someone would like me to pronounce it. I feel like for anything technical or in depth, I would always refer back to his resources. And in terms of hands-on application, I like Abhishek Thakur's work. He's very, very hands-on. I mean, I feel like the Ng supplements the technical side that he doesn't quite go into, because he takes a lot of an assumption of, you know, this already, this is how we apply it. But that's good as well, because I like the fact that he's only concerned with the application of different techniques and things like that. So Abhishek Thakur's work is really, really inspiring. In terms of just general culture though, there's a few people on LinkedIn that I really look at and I'm like, wow, man, what a great person. Like, I don't know if you know them, but Andrew Jones, Tom Ives, Kate Scratchney. I really don't know how to pronounce the name, but not necessarily the work they do, but how much they share for the community and how much they give out for free is really inspiring. And also like Danny Ma, these people there, I like their giving heart.
Yeah, the generosity. That's
exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a very nice list. I mean, we had Abhishek in the series, so there is an interview with him that I've done. Definitely very inspiring person. I mean, the rest I still have to get to, I guess. But yeah, I mean, a very, very cool list. So in terms of your personal career, what do you think is the most important thing you have done so far? Something you're particularly proud of, perhaps?
Two things. The first one was definitely getting my first job. I mean, now I'm currently out of work looking for work in the field again, but I didn't ever appreciate how difficult it is to land your first job in the field, because it came so easily to me. Like, I was literally going to meetups when the world wasn't on pause, and just meeting loads of new people. And one day I sat next to the person who became my manager, and I think he was peeking at my laptop and he saw a few projects that I had done whilst we was doing the work from the actual meetup, and he was like, oh, what's that? And then I've kind of showed it to him and he was like, hey, that's cool. We exchanged numbers, and then he called me into the office to like show my work, and they were happy about it as well. And so I'll say definitely landing my first job, mainly because I didn't ever have to suffer to get into the field. Like, I never really I had to go through what a lot of the people that are trying to get into the field are going through today. And then the second one would be there was an acknowledgement, or what can I say, a reward on Medium as a top writer in artificial intelligence. And that meant a lot to me, not because I was aiming for it, but because, I mean, I just feel like an ordinary writer, you know? I'm sharing mainly because I'm also teaching myself, and I find it very important to give back to the community, and to be acknowledged for what I've been sharing is really, really nice. And it was encouraging and made me want to share more. So that's definitely the two.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of get to that later. So, but definitely congratulations on the top writer. Top writer sort of recognition from the Medium. It's a big deal. And I'm sure the job will come along very soon. I mean, the job that, you know, if you want to kind of get out of writing and kind of get into more sort of the data science sort of data science desk job.
I wouldn't fully get rid of writing. I feel like it's been the most liberating thing, not only like for my personal growth, like in the field, but also just for myself as a human. I feel like I am, in putting my thoughts on paper, I really get to see how my brain's working. And honestly, it feels extremely liberating. So I think I would write still, regardless of whether I had a job or not. So
yeah, I guess what I meant was like when you obviously have a desk job, you then in a sense. Well, data scientists never actually have the desk job, really. I mean, because they kind of work all the time, but you normally have less time for writing. I mean, of course, you have some unicorns, some unicorns from the list that you've mentioned that kind of managed to do all of it. So I'm sure you are one of those as well. But you know, like it's just, you know, quite difficult to have both, right? So for someone who, like you said, so you had you explained your journey, your personal journey into data science and artificial intelligence and machine learning. So how you kind of learned yourself and was trying to teach yourself. So can you give some tips to people who want to just sort of start in data science? What is the most important thing, do you think, when you are trying to become a data scientist? What would be your advice to someone who is just thinking about it?
Yeah, great question. It's probably not the most conventional advice. You'll probably get something different from someone else. For me, I think the most important thing is first, get a good foundation in learning how to learn. There's so many resources. Like I look at people like Edward De Bono, Joshua Kaufman. I think is Eric Anders. He wrote Peak. I can't remember exactly the name. And Jim Quick.
Mm-hmm.
These people that they focus a lot on teaching yourself how to learn new skills. I put a lot of emphasis on that because I feel like for me, that's what's been pivotal in why I've been able to like learn things and grasp things quite intuitively so quickly. So definitely getting a good foundation in learning how to learn. And if you notice, that would set up the next path for you for your data science journey, because once you've learned how to learn, you would have some form of idea of how you can structure how to learn data science.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely get a good foundation in learning how to learn. And of course, the technical side of things would come along whilst you're learning how to learn. You start piecing things together like, okay, the book said that I should do this if I want to incorporate a new skill with like programming. And then you just apply it practically. So, oh, sorry. Another one is Barbara Oakley. She wrote a really great book called Learning How to Learn.
Right.
Yeah, is aimed at a younger audience, but honestly, that book is fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I mean, I just want to kind of expand on what you already started on. So in terms of the ability to code, you know, a lot of sort of I teach a kind of wide variety of students, from sort of people who actually study data science and analytics to people who are more on executive side, so who are not really, you know, technical. So they still know quite a lot about behavior and culture, but not so much about maybe technicalities of it. So how important would you say is the ability to code? Because you mentioned before that you had to kind of study your math again and study the, you know, coding quite a bit. So to your from your perspective, how important is it to code? And how would you go about developing this ability? Where do you start?
Yeah. Again, first, I believe it depends on, of course, the role you want to take on. But for someone like myself who wants to be a practitioner, who's applying data science, I think is quite important. However, I've been having a lot of conversations recently with like leaders in the field, and weirdly enough, a lot of the emphasis isn't necessarily on your technical ability. A lot of it is on your how can I say it? How much you care. I don't know how to better phrase it, but how much you care about whoever you're solving a problem for. So whether it's you're in a company, you're working for a company, how much you care about the success of the business and how you can use your skills to emphasize your care. But of course, better technical ability would also mean you can do better things, like more difficult tasks and difficult challenges. So I guess, yeah, in some respect, it is very important. But I think as long as the emphasis is on caring and wanting to do more for the other person at the other side of the table, that would measure how good your technical ability would be. So if I know that I want to serve a large audience or a large whatever, I know that my technical ability would have to be to a certain degree so that I can scale and manage that target audience that I want to reach. So I think it depends on the other person on the other side of the table. Who are you trying to serve would dictate the magnitude or the how good your ability should be. So I would say if you really want to be a good technical programmer, think about the people you want to serve first and how your skill can help them, if that makes sense, if I'm answering the question.
I think it's very that's a very good perspective, that, you know, like a lot of times people think that data science is some sort of magic, but it isn't, and it is all about the people that you're trying to help, right? And this is like really great perspective, because you always need domain experts. Like for example, I'm sure you do quite a lot of different, you know, projects in different kind of fields, in different areas, and you always need a domain expert to work with, and you always need to keep those people in mind. But I mean, coming back to technical and coding skills, when you learned, did you learn R or Python first, and like how was that happening? I mean, I always ask this R and Python question, and most of the time everyone tells me it's Python 100%. but I'm just wondering, like, what or maybe it's even, you know, something more basic, that's like SQL or something like this, that you need to master first. When like personally for you, when you studied, what was the first thing that you kind of picked up for coding? Yeah.
It was Python, but not because I had some systematic way of determining, oh, I'm going to learn Python before. It was just when I searched, what do I need to learn for data science? Python is what came up first. If R came up first, I would have learned R. If JavaScript or Java or whatever came up first, I would have learned that. So I'm not into the grief between Pythonistas and R users. I pretty much don't, in the kindest way possible, don't care. I'm not too fussed about the tool. Again, at the end of the day, is about, am I solving the problem at hand, and how much am I contributing? Am I helping these people solve their problem? So if you use R, if you use Python, whichever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sounds good, and sounds like a very good approach, because in a sense, you know, when I started learning programming, it was like Q basic, and then it was C and C++ and C++, and then all sorts of other things, Java. You know, now it's Python, and now I'm, for example, learning Julia, and I think next year will be something else. So it probably doesn't matter that much. So I completely agree there with you. Let's talk about your sort of medium career. You mentioned already this. I promised that we're going to come back to this, and so again, congratulations on the top writer, on the top writer recognition on Medium. So and you kind of touched on this already. So, but what I wanted to ask you is, when you write for Medium especially, and towards data science, do you feel that you kind of you teach others, or you learn more yourself through this process?
It's a bit of both. I mean, let me put it all into context. I started my blog for me to learn myself. I was tipped off by my manager from work. He was just like, if you write something down, like, and explain it in the most simple way, you understand it better. And then whilst you're writing, you'll begin to see gaps in your knowledge that you can just quickly go back and trace and fill in and add it into your writing. That was my intention when I started writing. Then I started getting recognized, and I was like, damn, people feel like I'm helping them. So this is okay. Like, but I would still say, like, in my head, I'm helping myself, but I'm aware that there's people looking at me now. So I would take that into consideration when I'm doing things. Like, just because I understand something that I've written, I now want to make sure that someone else can read it and understand it as well. Whereas before it was just, do I get what I'm writing? And yeah, so I'm aware of it, but I feel like the motivation is still there for me to develop myself and then also to give back. So yeah.
So in your opinion, what is the most challenging thing in having a successful AI and kind of machine learning data science blog? What do you struggle with most in this journey of writing a successful blog? Like, blog as a package. Writing itself. Okay.
Writing is hard. You said it already. Like, the time it requires for you, to write whilst you're working is gonna be crazy. So now where I'm not working and I'm writing, of course I still block time and say this is the time I'm gonna write, but gosh, it's tough, man. Because sometimes you're just like, yeah, I want to post something today. I hope I'm gonna just be able to whack this out in 30 minutes. Before you know it, you're sat there for an hour and a half and you're just still writing the introduction. Like, a lot goes into it, because like I said, as much as I'm trying to educate myself in my writing, now I'm aware that there's an audience, and I want to simplify things in a way that not just I will understand, but someone else would understand it as well. So I'm not only paying attention to like how good my code is or how good, like, that, those things are secondary. What's more important now is, am I clear? Could someone that's not technical also read this and say, wow, like, I get what you're saying. I feel like I can do this as well. And go from there. So a lot of thought goes into it. And in terms of becoming successful, of course I said writing, but the reason I said that is because you want to write consistently. If you want growth and recognition in your blog, you've got to be consistent, be in people's faces, not like spam, but be sharing, be contributing as much as possible. And again, I can testify to this. From the start of the year, where I was posting 1 blog a week, to March, where I began posting 2, till now, where I'm posting 3. I looked at my stats yesterday, and earlier I was getting like 20,000, and this month I literally touched 200,000 views, and I was just like, whoa, where did that come from? But as I look back, like, I've now been posting 12 articles a month, whereas before I was posting 4. So it's just, you're in people's faces, your name becomes more familiar, and so people will be more open to read your work. You're not just someone that popped out and it's just like, whoa, where did he come from? You're always on the headlines, you're always there. So consistency is very important, and writing is very difficult.
So what do you find the inspiration for 3 blogs a week? Oh, you kind of always have a lot of ideas, so that's not a problem.
No, honestly, I don't. Like, literally, I tried, what I try doing is, every day I would try and write at least a headline that I want to write about. So I feel like that makes me a bit more self-aware about what I'm doing in my day-to-day activities, because I'm thinking all the time, I need to write a headline. I need to write a headline. And that can be simple, like literally anything you're doing. Like, I might be having a conversation with you and say, oh my gosh, I can write about my interview with Ganna, and now I need to find a way to put this into an exciting headline, and then I need to find the content, or I need to get the content to structure it into a good blog post that people will read. So if you do become a lot more self-aware, and knowing that I have to write 3, when this is a personal target that I've put on myself, this isn't set by anybody else, that I have to write 3 a week, or at least just write 12 a month. It forces you to pay attention and think out the box. Honestly, it's not like I just have loads of ideas at the back of my brain. I really don't. I just try to be present in each day and pay attention to what I'm doing each day.
Yeah, sounds great. So yeah, I myself kind of writing a blog on cybersecurity. I find it like quite so yeah, I try to kind of look what is in the news as well, you know, to kind of understand what if there, so I for example write on cybersecurity, so I'm just trying to kind of stay on top of the, like what is going on, like what are the key threats. But of course, I mean, I cannot even come close to like writing 3 a week.
I guess to be fair though, it's grown over time. Like it started at 1 a week, you know, so is or even less, like, but it is grown over time. I wouldn't advise someone who's newly beginning, hey, just start writing 3 blogs a week, you know.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I know, like you said, I mean, we not only have to consider the inspiration part, right, and kind of the writer's block that you sometimes get, and you know, like you're kind of like looking oh my god, like, you know, I used to write like two or 3 a week, and now I can't like write 1 sentence. Like it's just really difficult. So I think everyone has this problem, but also, you know, it's the way, like you said, the way not only people are selecting what to read, but the algorithms are selecting whom to put top this week. And the frequency is definitely one of the key factors, right? I mean,
exactly.
If you are not doing things frequently, like it's not going to be picked up by the algorithms. And unfortunately, it's kind of man against machine in that sense, right? So like you have to take that into account. I mean, I cannot avoid the COVID subject.
Oh God.
So like we're all experiencing this in the most horrific way, I guess, this year. So in terms of you know, in terms of you know, the contribution of data science and AI to solving the COVID crisis, how much potential do you think it has in actually helping people? I mean, data science and AI in actually helping people. And can you imagine some, or maybe you know of some specific applications where data science was particularly helpful?
Yeah. Okay. I don't put a limit on the potential of data science. However, data science is very hard to do without good data. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, or maybe it's just myself, I'm not sure, but the data that's being collected for COVID is questionable about the accuracy and whether it is good enough data for us to get accurate results for us to now start using that data to do effective things. For example, towards the start of the lockdown in the UK in March, I was ill and bedbound literally like 4 days. I didn't get out of bed. And I called the NHS for a test just to see, like, do I have COVID? Can I get tested for it? And I was denied a test because I couldn't provide evidence that I'd been in contact with anyone with COVID. But
yeah, happened to me as well.
Wow.
So my son was so I have a 4-year-old. So then he was 3 years old, and yeah, they also kind of like whatever.
They was ill.
Well, we don't know because he, you know, never got tested in the end. Yeah.
But you see, this is a big problem. The fact that there's a lot of data that could be missed within the data that we would collect anyway, because we're not following the proper, you know, steps to collect that data effectively, you know. So there will be a limit. Don't get me wrong, I still feel like with what we've got, there's some effective things that can be done. Like I saw people doing those. I mean, at the start of the pandemic, loads of projects on data science on COVID was coming out, where people are tracking the growth of COVID, and people building dashboards where you can track the growth in certain areas and stuff like that, which was great. But then you also have to think of all the cases that weren't tracked and how much that's going to affect the data that they're showing to us. How much can we trust what's being shown to us? Because the data that we're collecting may not even be that good. Because now, you said that you were ill. Imagine how many hundreds or thousands or millions of people are in the same scenario, and they was denied a test because they couldn't point someone that also had
confirmed case.
Confirmed case, exactly. Yeah, they couldn't point to someone else that also had a confirmed case. So I mean, but then again, with what I was seeing, there was really, really good ideas coming out from it, and these dashboards that I was seeing were cool. I think there was a challenge on Kaggle that was pretty interesting that I looked at, but I didn't quite get my hands into it and stuff, but it looked good.
So yeah, so we've talked about COVID, and now I want to kind of ask you a really trick question as a writer and someone who's constantly looking into the future, kind of what is next. So in your opinion, what is the future of data science and AI, machine learning? Like, you can pick any aspect. How will it develop in the next 5 years? What do you think will be the hot topics, hot areas?
This is it depends who you ask sort of question. If you ask someone who's into deep learning or ML, they'll say it's going towards software engineering. If you ask the statistician, it's going to be more statistical modeling. I try to take a more generalist view of everything and say, I feel like if we're saying that, I think what everyone is saying, that the field is going to become more specialized, where it's not just data science that's covering everything. It's going to be broken down into a statistical modeler or an NLP engineer. Whether the titles will follow, I don't know. But I think we're going to start to recognize there's a bit more of specialization going on within the field. And then also, I just feel like a lot more open source work will be coming out as well, because I think the data science community has realized that we really do excel quickly when work is open source. And so I feel like that's going to be advocated for a lot more. So a lot more open source and a bit more specialization in the whole role. So maybe breaking down the term data science. What does it mean to be a data scientist? So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Definitely, I would personally love to see more open source work. So I'm hoping that is really going to go that way. So, I mean, you mentioned all the sort of struggles of writing and all that, but can you tell us what are you currently working on? What keeps you awake at night? What makes you excited? Maybe a particular blog that you're kind of, a particular project on your blog that you are particularly excited about.
So there's a few things in different areas. Again, I'm always like excited about my personal growth, and when I get to do things that's personally going to help me to grow. So recently I've been focusing a lot on like the deployment of machine learning models and deep learning models and things like that, which it's been keeping me up. Maybe not because it's the most fun thing, maybe because I'm trying to debug all of the errors I've made. That's why it's keeping me up. But on a more general note, I feel like, okay, there's an article that I've been writing. What I've been doing is I've just been I've been fortunate enough to have grown my LinkedIn platform over the past few months, and now I've been able to like get some lead data scientists that I've connected with, and I've been reaching out to all of them, well, as many of them as I can, and just arranging like personal one-to-one meetings where we could talk for 30 minutes and just try and, well, it's not really me talking, it's me trying to get into their head, like what got you to where you are, and what were the steps you've taken. And again, I kind of said a little bit of it earlier, where I was like, a lot of what is being said by lead data scientists is not really much to do with technical ability, and a lot more to do with this caring sort of paradigm, where it's like, what can I deliver to you as a client, or what can I deliver to you as the company I work for, or however you want to look at them. But just being able to look beyond your own self and needs, even though you know is important, and reach out to others and use your technical abilities to serve them, which has been weird for me, because it's like, I would have thought for me to be a lead data scientist or a senior data scientist is because, you know, I can run the best algorithm the quickest, or save the most money, or, well, even that's part of serving your customer, because, you know, but I thought it would be a lot more to do with how technical and how good you are technically, which I'm kind of moving away from, because like, just from talking to these guys, it seems like it's important, but it's not the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, so definitely, yeah. I mean, I can share your opinion about, you know, that the importance of you know, connecting with people and understanding the needs. So that's definitely very, very important for, you know, for excelling in data science. And it's cool that you're, you know, have this, in a sense, project of kind of talking to people.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So we are coming to the last question that I usually ask, and I can tell it's going to be a problem because you read a lot. And
God.
everyone complains about this question, but I still ask it every time. It's a traditional question. So the question goes like this: if I asked you to recommend one book and one film, what would your recommendations be? It doesn't have to be, these do not necessarily have to be in data science. It could be something that just inspires you, and something that you keep going back to.
The book is easy, funnily enough, regardless of how much you read. It recently got brought back up to me when I was speaking to one of these lead data scientists. I read it in the past, but one of the people I spoke to brought it back up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. And I've read it this week again. I literally just finished it. And I think I'm going to read it again. But that book is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I'm going to give it a new name. I'm going to call it the Corporate Bible.
Okay.
Corporate Man's Bible. It's everything we're talking about in terms of serving others and still caring about your own personal character as well. So read it.
Okay.
Read it.
There you go. Read it.
Yeah. Literally, I feel like that book is not just I read it, is a reference guide. Hence why I called it the Corporate Bible. It's and look out for habit 5, because that was the one that was brought up to me, and I was just like, oh wow, this is all it is. And in terms of a film, this one's hard.
Okay.
This one's hard because I actually don't spend much time watching films. I do have a movie night every Saturday, but
So that's
the films
watching quite a few of films.
yeah, do you know what the thing is? The films that I watch, there sometimes it would just be a YouTube documentary.
Yeah,
so
but that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be a feature film. Yeah, I mean, it could be you know, documentary if you want to pick one.
The Avengers.
Okay.
The Avengers.
Well, that's kind of. I think like after talking to you for about an hour, I can tell you that's very you. Yeah, definitely Avengers is something that, yeah. I mean, I really like how the book and the book is a little bit how to become a superhero, and then Avengers is kind of, yeah, again, like it's a human touch superhero kind of thing. So really cool. Kurtis, well, thank you so much for finding the time today to talk to me, and thank you for sharing your ideas and your experience, your expertise, and congratulations again on being the top writer for for Medium, and good luck with everything that you are doing. It's really exciting. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on this platform. I've listened to many of your podcasts before, starting with the one with Abhishek Thakur on resilience, and is amazing. Your work is really good and blessing the community, and I hope you carry on for a long time because it is very, very useful. So thank you as well, Ganna.